Obsession is a parasite. It begins as a quiet whisper in the back of your mind, promising fulfillment, purpose, and power. But as it grows, it becomes a consuming scream, a hunger that devours your soul and leaves nothing but emptiness in its wake. Tonight, we'll delve into the abyss of obsession, exploring its philosophical and psychological horrors through real-life stories that reveal how it destroys everything it touches. Obsession isn't simply passion gone astray. It's a reflection of the human condition, a double-edged sword that drives creation and destruction in equal measure. The ancient Greeks warned us of hubris, an obsession with power and pride that led heroes to their downfall. In the modern world, obsession takes many forms, but its essence remains the same, an all-consuming fixation that blinds us to reason and morality. Consider Vincent van Gogh, one of the greatest artists in history. His obsession with capturing beauty in the mundane was both his gift and his curse. He painted over 2,000 works in less than a decade, each one a desperate attempt to find meaning in his chaotic mind. Yet his obsession isolated him, drove him to madness, and ultimately led him to take his own life. In his final days, he painted a stormy field of wheat, perhaps a reflection of the storm within himself. Obsession isn't a muse, it's a tormentor. It promises greatness, but demands sacrifice. For Van Gogh, it took everything. Then there is Ted Kaczynski, the Unabomber, a mathematical prodigy turned hermit. Kaczynski became obsessed with halting technological progress. His manifesto decried the evils of industrial society, but his methods, mailing bombs to innocent victims, revealed how obsession warped morality. For 17 years, his fixation turned him into a ghost, a faceless threat who left destruction in his wake. Obsession distorts ideals into weapons. It convinces us that any action is justified if it serves the object of our fixation. Leni Riefenstahl, one of history's most controversial filmmakers, was obsessed with capturing the perfect human form. Her work immortalized the ideology of Nazi Germany, turning art into propaganda. While her films were celebrated for their artistry, they also glorified a regime responsible for unimaginable atrocities. Obsession with perfection blinds us to its cost. In her pursuit of artistic immortality, Riefenstahl became a willing accomplice to evil. Obsession is the abyss Nietzsche warned us about. The deeper we stare into it, the more it consumes us. It turns ideals into chains, passions into prisons, and dreams into nightmares. The question is, can we escape its pull before it's too late? Philosophy gives us the why of obsession, but psychology reveals the how it dismantles the mind piece by piece, leaving only fragments of the person who once was. Let's explore the dark mechanics of obsession through the lens of real lives shattered by it. Obsession is a cognitive trap. It hijacks the brain's reward system, creating an endless loop of craving and temporary relief. The neurotransmitter dopamine becomes both the key and a lock, tricking the mind into believing that fulfillment is just one step away. But the truth, there is no escape. Lisa Nowak was a decorated NASA astronaut, a symbol of human achievement. But beneath the surface, her obsession with a fellow astronaut consumed her. In 2007, she drove 900 miles armed with weapons, wearing a diaper to avoid stopping, to confront her romantic rival. The headlines were sensational, but the reality was darker, a brilliant mind unraveled by fixation. Love twisted into control, desire turned into destruction. Obsession leaves no room for reason. Howard Hughes, one of the richest men in the world, was consumed by his obsession with control. His fear of germs spiraled into a full-blown obsession, leading him to lock himself in dark rooms for years. He refused to cut his hair or nails, his body wasting away as his mind succumbed to madness. Obsession doesn't just isolate, it corrodes. It turns the brightest minds into shadows of their former selves. Richard Trenton Chase believed drinking blood would stop his body from disintegrating. His obsession drove him to murder, his victims chosen at random, their lives ended to feed his twisted delusion. Chase's story is a descent into the darkest depths of the human psyche. Obsession often manifests as delusion, transforming ordinary fears into monstrous compulsions. The loop of madness. An obsessed mind is like a broken record, each repetition carving deeper grooves into the psyche. Isolation, obsession drives others away. Friends and family become obstacles to the fixation until nothing remains but darkness. Escalation to violence. When obsession isn't satisfied, it turns violent, lashing out at the world in a desperate attempt to fill the void. Obsession is a thief. It steals your time, your sanity, your relationships, and ultimately, your humanity. It begins as a spark, but grows into an inferno, burning everything in its path. The question isn't whether you'll fall into the abyss, it's how far you'll fall before it swallows you whole.